Guys, welcome back to the channel. Another educational video today. Maybe more fun of a educational video or interesting that someone may watch compared to talking about eBay and other things. But this is also associated with eBay. So anyway, we're gonna talk today, guys, about VHS tapes, your favorite topic in all of YouTube content. But this particular one will just use this. I forgot to bring other ones, but it's fine. This will do. So this is legendary movie, guys. You recognize. No guess who it is on the front cover. This is Heather Langenkamp. She's an actress in a lot of horror movies back in the day, in the 80s and early 90s, but not recently. So anyway, that's Heather, guys. So anyway, the thing about it is, guys, that Nightmare on Elm Street, which is a legendary movie, brings back a lot of memories for me because I watched my older brother back in Uzbekistan, guys. Can you imagine? In Tashkent, there were people who actually recorded those older horror movies like Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Halloween, Texas Chainsaw Massacre back in the day, Gremlins, all those legendary horror sci-fi movies. I'm not gonna go through all of them. Who else am I forgetting who is legendary? Ghostbusters, which is not a horror but comedy horror kind of fantasy. Um, so many more, guys. Just Robocop was very popular back in the day in Soviet Union. It was one of the most popular ones from the 80s, and it was translated back in the day. The way they've done it, like there was a translation that was built into the VHS. Like the person was actually sitting, because for different countries, instead of having subtitles, for example, or nowadays on TVs, smart TVs, there was a person who actually his job was to translate using dictaphone probably or something that they used from English to different languages. So the bad part, I kind of remember that we had a lot of those tapes back in Tashkent. Like we had like all those legendary movies on VHS, and we didn't take them here, which is fine. A lot of people left a lot of interesting things over there when they immigrated, but toys, all types of very cool stuff. And anyway, it's off the subject. So VHS tapes, as you've learned from other content creators, there is a big collectible world with collectors who are very familiar with releases of VHS tapes, cassettes, CDs, vinyl records. So early releases like original, limited edition, whatever, different years. So as an example, we'll take example of the Nightmare on Elm Street. And this is, guys, was released by Media production company, which was very popular. Betamax tapes and VHS. I actually have a Betamax of this movie, which I'm not selling. I will grade it. And I can grade this too, but I decided I'll sell it. I'll find it. Even though sometimes you won't. Like, this is gonna be an example. When you list it, always pay attention to the back of the cardboard sleeve. This is the cardboard sleeve. I don't think that maybe Nightmare on Elm Street released one in clamshell, but I'm not familiar. But you never know, you can research. So the movie came out originally in 1984. If you know, I was 6 years old at the time. That's why I have memories of my older brother, who is 9 years older than me. He would scare me with this. He would bring those movies, watch them with his girlfriend to scare me back in the day. And I have good recollection of all those movies. I still remember all of them. Now I watch them a lot on Halloween, and it brings back memories because those were really good horror movies and not something they make nowadays. Horror slasher movies like Nightmare on Elm Street. So anyway, so this movie It was released in 1984. Then the first release of VHS for this particular movie was 1985. So that was the earlier version of the VHS tape. That's maybe there was earlier, but I researched it. I didn't find it. So 1985 was the original release on VHS, which is the early version on VHS tape of this movie. So it would tell you on the back, and you can actually look at the listings. You'll see. People actually sometimes don't even put the year in the title, but it's a good idea to do it for collectors because they will look. Because some collectors, of course, look at the pictures. That's why pictures are important, and they will be able to see what year on a cardboard sleeve or on an actual tape itself on a front sticker right here. So this particular one was released on VHS. This particular one is 1987. And later they released one in 1990, and there is a difference you will see. You can look at the photos on the listing, and you'll see on the back it will have different art for the sleeve. So earlier ones in 1985 and 1987, they didn't have that home entertainment artwork on the back of the cardboard, but you can see it in the listings. And there are a lot of different ones from 1990, which was possibly third release of that VHS tape. So this is the difference is for collectors, as you know, the earliest the better. Limited versions also, limited artwork. There is artwork which is a little bit different that you can check on eBay for this movie, and also the sequels. And so the price range for if it's used also depends on the condition. You have to make sure to specify if there are imperfections on the tape, on the sleeve. Make sure there is no mold, which is a very important part, guys. People don't mention it in the content, by the way, which is very important. That's why I test. Even if you test, my rule is I test all the stuff. I test VHS tapes. I'll take time. I'll test them. And of course, if I list a lot of VHS, I will just put untested, because I know I'm not gonna lie in the listings that I freaking tested, 25 lot of 25 VHS tapes. I mean, I'm not gonna do it, spend time on it like hours. But if it's something like this or some kind of rare movie, I test them. I usually don't watch it entirely, of course, but I'll go through, fast forward, rewind, see if there is anything going on. You may not catch something, which is fine. I mean, that's nature of this type of situation. But the thing about it is, a lot of those media, older media, tend to have mold, which is not that subject is not brought up a lot, but it is. That's why a lot of people resellers, for example, tend to not look through VHS or cassettes in terms of media, because of issues like mold or something. Because what happens is, if there's mold, which I've ran into before, sometimes you're not gonna even see the white spots on the tape. It depends on how bad the mold is. Sometimes you will see it instantly because it was in a moist place somewhere, moist place, either in the basement or garage or somewhere in the attic, wherever, and storage units outside, not climate controlled, right, Jack's treasures? So in those cases, most likely they will get damaged and have mold. Vinyl records also, all those things, cassettes, even CDs. CDs will also have regular audio CDs and DVDs. So that type of media. So a lot of people tend to not to buy those because of that. But it depends, because if you're buying it, for example, at the bins where you're paying, either depends on different areas of the bins in different cities. In ours it's 99 cents per media, per VHS or whatever it is, vinyl, cassette. somewhere else it can be like 69 cents, whatever. So you're not, of course, spending a lot of money, not investing a lot on that. So if it doesn't work or has mold, if you don't see the mold instantly but see it later, you will just throw it away. I mean, but for this movie, for example, like I said, from 1987, the price range differs a little bit. 1985 release of VHS tape of this Nightmare on Elm Street ranges from, say, $35 up to sometimes $70, depending on the condition. And if, of course, sometimes they will be maybe a little bit, sealed somewhere, not completely sealed. And sometimes people will include that it's partially sealed. It will bring up a value a little bit. But I mean, it's kind of, in my opinion, it's bullshit. I mean, people can just put some kind of thing on top, say it's partially sealed. That clear plastic or whatever it's called, shrink wrap. But for 1987, it's ranges from also around $35 to $50, also depending on the condition. And of course, the later releases, 1990, from 24 to 30, from 20 to 30. Then later on, also like 15, 97 release, I saw like 15 to 20. So it all depends. That's why it's important, guys, to look for especially horror. Even not even horror, guys. Like any movies. Sorry, almost dropped Freddy on the floor. Sorry, Freddy, or dropped Heather. Anyway, so that's why, guys, I think it's important, and you know from other content creators that it's important to check, and you're familiar with that. You learned it, especially if you sell media like me a lot. And I am not like full scale media seller, but I sell a lot of media, and something I like. It's one of the categories that I've been kind of, even though I don't recommend it, guys, I became later on, I removed a lot of the media and listed them in lots later on, but still have a lot listed. And now DVDs are not worth much. But anyway, Blu-rays, whatever. 4K, for example, 4K Blu-ray, 4K HD movies, they are worth decent amount, some of them. So be on the lookout for 4K. Because recently I bought, I think, 3 animated 4K movies, which was 4K plus Blu-ray. Sometimes they'll have one disc, sometimes they'll have 2 discs. Mostly 2 discs. One will be 4K, one will be Blu-ray. And HD digital, which is digital, which you can put the code in and watch it anywhere. I never tried it, but the most important part about digital is that they expire. The codes expire. So be careful, because when you list them and you put in Blu-ray, DVD, Blu-ray, digital plus digital, or 4K plus Blu-ray plus digital, sometimes when you open the case for that particular movie, digital code will not even be there, but it will say digital on the case. So you need to disclose that you don't have the code anymore, because that way you're gonna get an issue with the buyer sometimes. Had this happen like a month ago, where I sold, it was animated, and it was brand new sealed. It was a sealed movie. It was for, I think, maybe Blu-ray plus DVD plus digital, or 4K, I don't remember, but doesn't matter. So in my case it was sealed, but the digital code that came with it expired. But I didn't disclose it because I forgot about it. I actually knew about it before, but I forgot to disclose that. Most likely, and not most likely, I think all the time, if it has to be used, like there is expiration on it. I forgot. You can research it. So on digital code there is expiration. So if a person gets and tries to use a digital code, even if it's included in the case, then it's not gonna work. It's gonna be, it says it's expired. That's what happened with my buyer when he tried to he put in digital code, it said it's expired, even though it was sealed new. So he still went and he actually messaged me. He sent me an offer. I accepted the offer. It kind of, he was not one of those buyers that would one. He actually sent me a message about it saying, unfortunately, digital code has expired, but since I got a good deal when I accepted his offer, he decided he'll keep it. He's not gonna return it. But there are buyers who will return it if you don't disclose about expiration of the digital code, that they cannot use it anymore. So be careful with that, with media, with Blu-rays and digital. The ones that have like three on the case, it will say Blu-ray plus DVD plus digital HD, or 4K plus Blu-ray plus digital HD. Those codes for digital HD usually always expire, unless you just bought it recently, like say a couple of weeks ago or month. I have to check how long they last, for how long. I didn't research, but I disclosed it in the past. I just forgot for this new one because I thought maybe I thought it was recent. Maybe the code was still working, but it didn't. So, but he actually was still happy, didn't want to return it, and even left me positive feedback. So anyway, be careful with that kind of stuff, guys. And with media, there are so many different things where you cannot notice something with year of the release of the tape or cassette or DVD or CD, or will have limited edition artwork. I recently sold a 4K, like I said, was limited edition, like rare, like artwork of the movie, and it sold for more money compared to the other ones that were released like maybe later or earlier. I don't know. There are so many variations of that, so that's why I research to see, because it will bring the value up sometimes very high of certain movies. It will be completely like very rare for the artwork, for the year of the release, like specific things. So, and the good things, yeah, I already know. So I knew about this one that I've sold it before, but I sold 1985, which was the early release of that tape in the past, from 1985, which I told you about. And I think I sold it for $50 used. If you find them new sealed, there's always this question: you wanna keep them and grade them, because the graded ones can go up in value big time, especially good sealed ones, new ones. People do that. They will grade them and then either keep them to see if the value can go up more later on, or just sell them when they graded them, because they will have a higher grade of the new release. And used ones, you can do the same. You can send in the used one and grade it and see if you get certain grade which will be higher for the specific rare release or rare year when it was released, or artwork. So anyway, guys, just wanted to point that out. We're gonna do more videos about this kind of stuff. See, I disclosed on this tape there are cosmetic issues with the cardboard sleeve. You'd probably see it, see, right there. So you have to disclose it for the collectors, because otherwise, if you don't, because collectors will return it. And I had this happen. And even with cassette before, buyer, which I did not see, but the buyer saw the mold on the cassette. And he said that like I said, it's hard. You have to see like very closely. Sometimes people will message you, collectors will message you on eBay and ask you if there's mold. And you have to make sure you inspect it very carefully, because if you don't and ship it to them, they will not be happy camper, guys. They'll leave you negative, because collectors are very peculiar about things, and picky about this kind of situation. So be careful with that. Anyway, guys, too long of a video once again. Educational, maybe a little bit different, but we'll talk more about different things like that in the future. Take care. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.